Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today, we're talking about Sands of Destruction. Now, Sands of Destruction is a pretty interesting thing, actually, and I want to say that it literally is a weird entity where it was actually originally a Nintendo DS game that was then ported into an anime. Now, what's funny about the anime was that the anime goes very different with the actual video game. The video game deals with its characters a lot differently, has different voice actors for for the English dub than the actual anime does, and I'm okay with that. In God's truth, I know that may sound kind of odd, but this is one of those things that I kind of glad that they went a different route with it because I think the anime does a decent job of representing the game, albeit it might not be for everyone's kind of cup of tea. Now, Sands of Destruction takes place in a kind of fictional world where there are beings known as ferals, or beasts as they called in the actual anime, um, that they are part of this larger committee that they actually reign supreme over humans because humans are actually lesser than them. Now, what they actually want to do is they want to do this thing called the Salvation Project, which will actually destroy all the humans left in the world and just have it where beasts run free because beasts they feel are so much superior than the humans are just kind of taking up unnecessary space. So what actually is funny about that is then we have a world destruction committee that comes out, who we have her main leader Mort, which is the girl actually you see in the middle of the screen right there, who is now the leader of this group, and she wants to destroy the Pharaoh. She wants to bring, actually more so, not just destroying them, but destroying the whole world at the time, making it so no one can live there. No one. I mean, she wants to destroy the world literally. So then we get Kyrie, who's this kind of haphazard, lazy kind of guy who, he bumps into everything. He's very clumsy. He doesn't do very much per se. Doesn't even really know how to fight very well. In the video game, he gets a little bit cooler. In the anime, he always kind of stays in this kind of goofy style, which is probably one of the biggest problems with the anime. But Kyrie is essentially going to be the main character because he has I want to say, the specific power to actually destroy the world if he really wants to. And apparently, when he's linked with someone who really wants to destroy the world equally, he can destroy it. So they find an item called the Destruction Code, which will then be used in the main part of the story as a means of doing that, bringing the destruction to the world. They meet several of the characters along the path. I forgot. I'm being honest with you. I think that bear's name is Teddy or Kuma, but I forgot off the top of my head, and I'm not gonna look it up right now. But Stand of Destruction is a series that will hit or miss with people. It is not a bad show, and I know I hate to say it because I know the way I make it sound like I don't care about whose name Teddy is, for example, but there are a lot of things about Stand of Destruction that will turn people off, and that's because it's kind of a dated style in terms of anime presentation. And I don't mean the visuals. Visual-wise, it's not a bad-looking series. Actually, you can tell from the art right there. It's not bad at all. The animation looks pretty good. It's probably one of the stronger points of the series. Everything else, though, about the anime has this kind of dated, old feely to it that doesn't really work in the modern day of anime talking and anime discussions and stuff like that. That you don't really think about that too much. And I know I'm going to try to explain it as best I can when I continue with this review, but more so think about it in the sense that think of what Trigun, if Trigun was dumbed down to a really, I mean, dumbed down by a lot. Have Trigun come out today, and in a dumb sense, it sounds like a good idea, right? Like, oh, Trigun was great, wasn't it? It was great, yes. But there's a lot of things about Trigun's culture and nature that don't work in modern anime that you do not have the kind of capacity to see on screen and listen to for several hours now. It's just something that goes, this feels kind of like, it feels kind of meh. And Sands of Destruction really embodies that. Like, for example, the story in general is the best part of it in the sense that you have the reverse of humans taking over beasts. Because a lot of times in anime, you always have the humans reigning supreme over beasts because beasts are, like even if they are human-like, do not have the same capacity to be as strong as humans usually in the stories, at least for that. In this case, we have a reversal where the humans are actually the weaker of the two because they're less in number, and then you have the pharaohs and beasts that are actually higher in number. It's interesting. It's probably one of the better takes of the story because you don't really get to see too many reversal stories like that. But they could have did so much more with it. They could have really kind of looked over the culture, looked over what it is to be a beast in the show, what it means to them as almost a kind of segregation concept. And they really don't go into that. They delve into it here and there, but never at a full length that you'd be like, well, I wish there was more. You'll always wish there was more. That's one of the biggest issues with Sands of Destruction. On top of that, its cast of characters is very hit or miss. Mort steals the show, and I really wish was the main protagonist for this. I really wish she was the leader of everything in the show because I think she's an awesome female protagonist. She has a lot of strength behind her. She's very cool. You know, she only falls for Kiri at one point of the story because of certain incident. And then she kind of realizes, you know what? As goofy as he is, he's got a sense of strength to him too in his own right. But besides that, though, they always keep her at a kind of, oh well, she's part of the story. Don't get us wrong, but she's not the main character. Kiri is the main character, and Kiri never really develops from this cool character that he does in the games. Like the video game for it, he was awesome. He started off he as a clown and kind of a weak character, but over the course of it, because he had to go into many fights and because he had to see the world and through like a bigger lens, because the game does go into more of the stuff I have issues with the anime. It does more of that in the game. What's funny about Kiri is he develops as a character more. He actually becomes this kind of, you know, stronger character who still has this kind of quirkiness to him, but he always keeps that more so in the back burner because now he realizes that I gotta act tough. I gotta be tough because otherwise we're gonna get killed if I don't act tough. In the anime, he doesn't do that. He actually only acts tough, I think, toward like maybe one or two scenes of the anime, and it really annoys me. He always plays like a secondary character, and yet he's the main character, which annoys the crap out of me. It's one of the biggest issues with the anime. Apart from that, this is a 13 episode series that it, I don't know, it's more so that like you're not gonna feel like you wasted time watching it, but you're not gonna have any lasting impressions of it. Like I own it because it's really dirt cheap. You can find this off Amazon for like I think $7-8, you know, used, maybe 14 brand new, because it's a safe thing from Funimation, but it's old, you know, for the sake of, you know, being 6 years old now. But you know, at that point, would you go, would this be worth buying it? Would it really be it? Would I really want this? I'd say, you know, hey, listen, if you want to buy a series that's cheap and you're looking for a cool show that just kind of just doesn't really stand out per se, that it's just, it won't feel like it wasted your time, but more so it won't feel like it did anything great. Sands of Destruction is perfect for that. I hate saying it like that, but it's true. Because I feel like I would rewatch Sands of Destruction many years later because like I bought it again recently, not recently, but like several years ago. And I actually went, well, you know what? I don't feel like watching it right now. I still have to keep this in the back burner of my mind because I really don't want to watch it right now. I want to have it completely erased from my mind before I actually go back into it. Only because I really can't, per se, give this show a lot of praise. It's like, it's so a mediocre show. Everything about it, action's mediocre, animation for it is okay. It's, like I said, it's one of the better parts of the show. The story would have been good if they would have delved into a little more like the video game did. That's why if I had to give it a score between A or F, of course, I'd have to say a C, like dead center C. You know, I don't think the show is that bad. It's not that bad, but it doesn't do a lot of things that it could have did to make it worth a B. I don't think the show ever would have been A quality. I'll be honest with you right there, but I think the show could have went up to a B plus or a B minus at least if it would have had a little bit more storytelling. If it would have switched its protagonist, I really think Mort should have been the main protagonist, not Kyrie. But if it would have had those two being like the main focal point, it would have been a lot better. But otherwise, the cast of characters are very weak and they're not worth mentioning. They're almost caricatures of themselves, really. But why you make it like I make it sound like the show should be rated less than a C, right? Honestly, like I said before, I grade things off my kind of enjoyment of the show. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed watching it. Doesn't mean I loved the show. It's just more so that I feel like wasted time watching 13 episodes. It was like I watched 13 episodes. I got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. I was done with it. I passed on from it. That's it. I moved on to a different show. To me, that is at least a C when it's like that. You know, if it's like one of those shows that I regret several episodes, or if then it's like C minus, then we start going to D plus territory, etc., etc. But it's not a bad show. Watch it once. You won't waste your time with it. I definitely recommend checking it at least once in your life. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And as always, guys, until our paths cross again next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.